Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to the Erie County Department of Public Works Highway Division's Harlem Barns, which is one of 5 sets of major barns that we have across Erie County as we're here to talk about winter weather preparedness for, of course, the governments as well as our citizens. I'm Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, and I'm very pleased to be joined by City of Buffalo Mayor Chris Scanlon and others that you'll hear from our teams as we talk about the coordination and cooperation that we have, as well as what people should expect as we are expecting the first big blast of winter to arrive starting on Friday. We've gone through this before. We know how to handle storms. It's just important that people understand the mechanisms that are put in place by governments, both by the county and the city, to handle snowstorms. As you may know, and as I think we're all been talking about for the last couple days, we are expecting a significant snowstorm to hit Erie County, southern parts of western New York, starting on Friday with a winter storm watch that is beginning at 7 a.m. on Friday and going until 7 a.m. on Monday. We are still uncertain of the exact location and the drifting of this storm. As we've seen in past storms, what often happens is the storm will set up in the southern part of Erie County, will dump a lot of snow there, and then move up into central Erie County. I think it's important that people understand, especially those in the public, what is southern Erie County? I've got our friend here holding the map. Southern Erie County is primarily ski country. Colvin, Boston, Holland, Evans, Eden, Sardinia, Springville, Concord, and those areas. Central Erie County includes Hamburg and Orchard Park, as well as Aurora, but also Lackawanna and South Buffalo. And then Northern Erie County includes the vast majority of the city of Buffalo, town of Tonawanda, city of Tonawanda, Amherst, and those environments. So we are expecting the snow to start in southern Erie County, in the area we want the snow to hit, which is ski country. But we're starting to hear that it sounds like the band will probably move during Saturday and also on Sunday. And as a result, it is quite possible that this band, which could be dropping snow in more than an inch or two an hour, we had an estimate last night from the New York State Mesonet that said this band could drop at 3 inches an hour, could eventually move into the city of Buffalo. So what we're asking everyone is to be prepared, to understand that we've gone through these snowstorms before. We can handle 2 to 3 feet of snow. It's when it gets above 3 feet of snow in which it gets very difficult to handle the amount of snow, especially when there's vehicles on the road. We are assuming that we will get through this fine, but we're also preparing for the worst. So you hope for the best, you prepare for the worst. And our teams are at the ready starting tomorrow, when we expect the first snow to fall in southern Erie County, but especially on Friday and Saturday to take whatever Mother Nature throws at us. You'll be hearing from our coordinated efforts from the Departments of Public Works, as well as law enforcement, fire, and emergency services very soon. But what I want to express to our friends in the public is it's always best to be prepared, to ensure you have the necessities at hand in case the snowstorm gets bad and you're stuck inside for a couple days. We've gone through this before. When there have been emergency situations, we advise the public to stay indoors for a reason, because it can be 2 factors, especially when there's a driving ban. There's 2 factors that come into play. The number 1 factor is the preservation of life and the safety of people's lives. The second factor is to keep vehicles off the road, because as we've seen in the past, when vehicles are on the road, they get stuck. And when they get stuck, it hinders our efforts to be able to clean the roads, because we cannot put a plow down a road if there's 2 cars stuck on it. So then we have to come in with tow trucks and pull cars. I'm hopeful that we do not have to issue a driving ban at any time during this upcoming storm. But we've seen storms in the past where there are predictions of 2 or 3 feet and we get 6 or 7 feet. So we have to be prepared, and that's why we remind everybody. Now's the time, the next couple days, including tomorrow on Thanksgiving, if you need to get provisions now to ensure that you have what's necessary in case the storm does come up to the center part of the county, the northern part of the county, and it hits hard. Also, make certain that you understand the conditions before you go out. the one thing we've always seen is people go out in the most worst conditions and say, I didn't understand it, and didn't have the right provisions in their home and their car. It's not only necessary to have provisions in your home, it's exceptionally necessary to have them in your car. To have a winter preparedness kit, which includes an extra jacket, gloves, hat, blankets, candles in case you get stuck and you need to get a little heat in your car, to have your ice scraper and your snow brush in your car. Those other things that could be life-saving in a really bad situation. So now is the time to ensure that you're ready in your home and you're ready in your car. We hope we don't have a bad weather situation, but we always know it's possible. And that's why we prepare for the worst and hope for the best. We, when I say we, I'm talking about Erie County, the City of Buffalo, and the New York State Department of Transportation and our partners met just recently at our Emergency Operations Center in Cheektowaga to discuss preparation for the winter. Erie County on an annual basis is always buying new trucks and new equipment from our Department of Homeland Security, our Public Works, of course, as well as our Parks Department. And our friends in the City of Buffalo have done the same, and turn it over to Mayor Scanlon to talk a little bit more about that, but you can see some of those pieces of equipment here. We understand what we get in this region. We get heavy snows. We also know how to get through them. And it takes a tremendous workforce, which we have, but it also takes cooperation from the public to not go out in the bad situations, to know if a driving ban is in place, please do not go out, because you're putting your life at risk and you're also hindering our ability to respond and actually clear the roads so we can get them open sooner. As stated, we're getting more information from the Weather Service every day. We've gotten and received more information from the New York State Mesonet with Dr. Basil in Albany. It is possible that this snowstorm can bring snows at the rate of 3 inches per hour. Why is that important? It generally takes 4 hours during a storm for our trucks in our 5 divisions to do a plow run, a route. So if it takes 4 hours and it's snowing at a rate of 3 inches per hour, by the time the truck comes back again, there's going to be a foot of snow on the ground. So we want to remind everybody to expect that it's possible that we could get some really heavy snow. If it is heavy snow and it takes 4 hours to do a plow route, there's going to be snow on the road after the plow gets there by the time they get there next time. So the best thing you can do is be indoors, stay off the roads if you need to. We've gone through this before. We know it can be the possibility. And the one thing I want to note is we've realized you have to expect the unexpected. We've had predictions in the past of 2 to 3 feet of snow, which turned out to 4 to 6. The one snowstorm that was 7 feet, they predicted 3 to 4 feet of snow, and we got 7 feet. So you got to expect the unexpected. Let's hope we don't get a whole lot of snow. If we do, let's ensure it's down in Colden, go all the way down to Ellicottville so that the ski areas are very happy. They haven't had a lot of snow the last couple of years, and it's fine in center and northern Erie County. But if it moves up, we're prepared to handle it. And I'm very pleased at this time to introduce my partner, someone I've talked about this already. We've worked in prior storms together when he was just a council member, but to ensure that the City of Buffalo gotten taken care of properly, we already have put protocols in place to ensure that all of Erie County is taken care of as necessary. Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, County Executive. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out for this winter weather preparedness event. I have to take a moment to thank the County Executive, his team, Emergency Services Commissioner Dan Neverth, and the other county officials for their cooperation with the City of Buffalo. As the County Executive mentioned, 12 years in government, and before being the mayor, he was always at ready to help the district I represented, South Buffalo, which received a tremendous amount of snow during any of these winter events. And I can't thank him for that support in the past. And then his cooperation during my time here as mayor. We've had several conversations about cooperating, not just when it comes to winter weather, things like that. So it's fantastic to have a partner in government like the County Executive. His team, this team at the city, have been communicating for the last couple of weeks about, as we move into this time of the year and the potential for weather events, doing tabletop exercises, things of that nature, and really making sure that we're on the same page, so we're providing the proper amount of service to the residents of the City of Buffalo and the larger Erie County. I want to acknowledge the representatives of the city's emergency management team, our emergency services manager, Thomas Luby, our Department of Public Works Commissioner, Nate Martin, our parking commissioner, Ray Wagner, our police commissioner, Joseph Grimali, our fire commissioner, Bill Ronaldo, and our fleet director, James Cross, for the work they've put in preparing for this time of year as well. As the county executive mentioned, there's obviously some weather anticipated this weekend. We're not exactly sure what that will look like. Some heavy rain moving into snow, potentially some very heavy snow, which makes it more difficult to move around, obviously. So that forecast is constantly moving, and as we get closer to the weekend, we'll have a much better idea of what that's going to look like. What I wanted to talk about is the city's preparedness and where we stand right now. As the county executive, you prepare for the worst and hope for the best, that's the same at the City of Buffalo. We're erring on the side of caution to make sure that we're providing all the services necessary. I want the residents of the City of Buffalo to know that the city's 311 call center will be available over the course of the weekend should there be any emergency and they need to get a hold of people there. The city has updated our website with all of our essential storm preparedness and those resources. And if you want to visit that you can visit that at www.buffalony.gov/winter. Our warming shelters, we've been having conversations about the potential of warming up warming shelters, should that be. We've had a number of those conversations over the course of the past few weeks, and we will activate those if they are needed on an as needed basis. But just know that those conversations have been taking place, and we're moving forward with that should they be needed. I also want to thank our partner in government at the state, our Governor Kathy Hochul, who I spoke to earlier in the week, and who has assured that any resources that the city, the county might need, she's more than willing and stands ready to assist should we need them. So I want to thank the state for their assistance should we need it. Our winter parking regulations in the City of Buffalo will be going into effect. Due to an unreasonably warm November, we pushed those regulations back to December 1st. I just want everyone to know that the winter parking regulations in the City of Buffalo will go into effect at 1:30 a.m. Monday morning. What this means for any residents, overnight parking on our bus routes is prohibited between 1:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. and daytime parking is no longer permitted on the side streets with seasonal alternate parking. As the county executive mentioned, it's essential that you're adhering to parking regulations. It makes it very difficult on snow removal efforts if we have cars parked on the wrong side of the streets, or if you're going out during travel bans and maybe you get stuck and cars are stuck in the middle of the street, we have to take time to now pull the cars out, remove them before we can get into plowing. So please adhere to all driving and parking regulations that are implemented as this storm rolls through. Obviously, this week is Thanksgiving, and there's going to be a lot of travel taking place. So please make sure if you're traveling, if there's not a travel ban, you are taking the necessary precautions. As the county executive mentioned, making sure you have everything in the vehicle you may need should you have an issue, but plan ahead, allow for extra time, observe speed limits because of the weather could get a little tricky. Make sure you're buckling up, taking all those safety precautions. I would advise everyone and recommend everyone to please sign up for all the alerts we have, the alert systems. The Buff Alert, you can text your zip code to 38276. Again, you can text your zip code to 38276, or for Code Blue updates, you can text Code Blue Buffalo to 898211. Again, that's Code Blue Buffalo to 898211. A couple other reminders. Again, this is Thanksgiving week, so if you're out and about and you wanted to do business with the City of Buffalo, City Hall is closed for Thanksgiving as well as on Friday, November 29th. So don't try coming downtown to City Hall to conduct any city business, especially with the weather, but the building is closed anyway. So, and finally, city garbage pickup is scheduled as regular for Thursday and Friday. We will continue with that as is, so you can please put your garbage out. And finally, as we prepare, I just wanted to add, and the county executive touched on this, how prepared we are for the season. We've brought into the fold at the city 29 new pieces of equipment that have been added to our fleet across the departments of Public Works, Police, and Fire that will stand ready to be deployed should they be needed to be utilized during this storm. And finally, during these storms, communication is key. So please make sure you're looking out for any communication coming from the county, coming from the state, coming from the city, so you're aware of the weather conditions, how they might change when you're preparing to leave the house. just because the conditions are what they are when you're getting ready to leave, maybe you're looking to take a little slightly farther trip. As the county executive mentioned, these forecasts can switch very quickly based on wind, things of that nature. So make sure you're paying attention to any communication that's coming out. I know the county does a fantastic job with communicating to the public, and we're going to do the same. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. Stay safe this weekend, and we'll see you after the storm.
Thank you, Mayor. Our joint departments of Public Works have worked together on numerous storms through the years. And there is a good protocol in place in case it gets that bad and the city of Buffalo needs assistance from both the county and the state. To talk about the preparation that's been put in place already, as well as the coordination that does exist, I ask Commissioners William Gary from the County of Erie and Nate Martin from the city of Buffalo to come up to the podium and discuss these issues. Commissioners?
Yeah, go first, Bill. Yeah, all right. So as the county executive and the mayor said, a lot of these discussions and planning have been going on since the summertime. It's not just prior to a storm that Commissioner Martin and myself get together and spend a lot of time over the next couple days, but it's a continual team effort. We in the county have been blessed with getting a lot of new equipment as well. We've got a couple of the pieces behind us, but we have about 40 plow trucks, tandems ready. We have about 15 light duty plow trucks to get into some of those tighter city streets if we need to, as well as 15 high lifts, a couple of specialized pieces of equipment with snow blowers. And believe it or not, we actually have a couple of snow blowers that are due in within the month. And those ones are very specialized pieces of equipment that we'll be using all throughout the county, every city, municipality. But again, it's a great team effort working together with the city and all the municipalities, because we depend on the towns to plow at least half of our road mileage, 600 miles of road. So those town highway superintendents, everybody else, during this time, we got probably one of the busiest travel times. So I hope people have a great holiday, get out, spend some money, go shopping. But we also have the Bills game on Sunday, and we'll be out there working that, keeping the streets clear to make sure the Bills can get another victory and move on. Commissioner?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Commissioner, really appreciate that. As Commissioner said, Bill and I work closely together. Our teams work closely together. Some of your team members are here, some of our team members here from the city. So it is a combined effort. When we get these big regional impacts that cross the city line or across town lines, so we're working together over months to make sure we're prepared. And a shout out to our team at the Eric Mecca and his team at the DOT, the regional director locally, and their team between the state and the county and the city. It is that collective effort when we get those big storms. City prep wise, just city specific, we've got 7 new main plows and 8 front end loaders that we've added. We've got 7 more plows expected soon. The timetable on those is a little bit delayed. It's just a long time getting some of the equipment. So, heavy equipment wise, we're in a good place. We've got 10 other pieces of equipment, medium light duties for parks and engineering, viaducts, fire police facilities as well. So our standpoint, I think we're in a decent shape there. And then from, just again, an overall communication, we're on board all the time with the county and making sure we're tied in. And then emergency contractor wise, so our emergency contractors, should we get that 4, 5, 6 feet of snow that's beyond the capability of typical road crews, we've got the contractors in place, and I know the county does as well, to bring in for that snow removal. So I think in a pretty good spot going forward. And I would just have that word of caution. This will be the first snowfall that many of us see. Significant in some areas, but just first snowfall in general. So pay extra attention, drive slower, extra space between cars. And if you see some plows out there, please give them extra space. They're doing that important work to make sure our streets are clear and safe and putting salt down and getting the snow out of the way. And we just don't want to be crowding those to create any dangerous situations. So with that, we'll turn it back over. Thank you, County Executive.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Commissioners. And I do agree with Commissioner's statement. It's the first snowfall of the year. Got to remember how to drive in the snow, drive a little slower. And if you're new to the area and you're not used to driving a lot of snow, drive as slow as you possibly can. Because what we often see are people who are new to the area are not used to driving and even in 2 inches of snow, and are often the ones that we're pulling out of ditches. So drive slowly when the snow hits. And to give more information as someone who's been working for the last couple of years to ensure that our community and the members of the community are adequately prepared for any type of disaster, but especially our winter snow, I'm pleased to invite to the podium our Deputy County Executive in Erie County, and someone who's spending a lot of time working with organizations all across this community to ensure that everyone is prepared for the upcoming storms. our Deputy County Executive, Lisa Shamera.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is so incredibly important that, of course, we prepare our equipment and our crews for a snow event, but it's also critically important to prepare our residents. We have been spending a great deal of time working with community organizations to get critical information out there on how people can be prepared for a weather event. The first thing I would like to mention is our Office of Health Equity has put out a Let's Get Ready for Winter Weather newsletter that contains incredibly important information on how to create a circle of care, tips for building a preparedness kit for your home and your car, shelter information, heat information, and information about free safety trainings. It is available in 5 languages, and you can find it on our Erie County website. We also have important information on emergency preparedness and how to prepare your home for food, how to prep on a budget. It's a pamphlet that our Office of Health Equity has created, and our Emergency Eats Cookbook, which our Food Policy Council has created. Also, we have spent the past year creating valuable videos for residents on how to build an emergency care kit, how to build a vehicle preparedness kit, how to prepare pets for a winter emergency, how to prepare your business, tips for businesses, how individuals with disabilities need to be prepared, how older adults can be prepared, and tips for staying safe in our cold weather temperatures. All of these videos can be found on our Erie County YouTube website. Residents, please know that you play a critical role in preparing for these weather events. There are resources out there that can inform you and help you in this situation. And finally, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy County Executive. I'm pulling something up on my phone as we get ready for emergency preparedness and discussing the Emergency Services and Homeland Security Department, and it's our Ready Erie app. Just want to remind everybody that you can actually go and download Ready Erie on your phone, which gives you push notifications with regards to emergency information that comes from the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. Also allows you to find at any one moment the roads that are closed in Erie County using a map. So I'm just pulling it up right now, and for whatever reason it's wanting me to reinstall it. So it's best now to reinstall Ready Erie before the storm hits. It was on here and it's asking me to reinstall it, but it's a great app and it allows you to pull up all that information that's put up by our Homeland Security Office. I'd like to introduce at this time our Commissioner of the Department of Homeland Security, Dan Neverett Jr., as well as the Commissioners of the City of Buffalo Fire Department, William Ronaldo, and the Police Department, Joseph Gramaglia, to talk a little bit more about how law enforcement and emergency services works together during these times. And hopefully I'll have Ready Erie installed by the time they finish speaking. Commissioners.
Welcome to the team. Hopefully we won't get you your varsity letter later next week. We'll wait a little bit while for that. But it's hard to compete with all the nice new shiny equipment that you see behind us. But it is a team effort. This team here, all of the other municipalities that we work with throughout the year. So I'm standing between you and a nice warm car and a regular body temperature. So what I really want to highlight is a couple of things. The equipment's one thing. Without the communication, without the collaboration, and without the training, we're really not accomplishing a whole lot. And I'm happy to say that throughout Erie County and even reaching into other counties now, the training is there, the communication, the collaboration, the relationships, being able to identify people by their first name basis, knowing what their traits are. That's the thing that the intangibles that we try and work throughout the course of the year. We got to try and schedule these things maybe one of these days when it's about 50 degrees like it was last week. But I guess it's good training to get everybody out here. So it's about building relationships. And if there's one thing that I could highlight, because there's hundreds of them that we've done over the last year, 2 years, the Deputy County Executive did mention it, but it's COED, which is Community Organizations Active in Disasters. We found after some of our storms, there's a lot of folks out there, a lot of organizations that are the grassroots, and they know exactly what needs to be done. They reach those communities. Now we have that two-way flow of information. It's been a tremendous program. My staff is working very closely with all the other agencies. It's city, it's local communities, it's the state, and it's even the feds. And the federal government is actually taking notice of the progress and the things that we're doing. So it's all positive stuff. It's not always just about the equipment. So, buckle down, stay safe, and hopefully we won't have any major issues over the next couple of days.
All right, good afternoon. I just want to address one thing to start. When it comes to the point, and we know throughout the winter season, maybe not this coming storm, but driving bans. And I can't say it enough that when there is a driving ban, that you have to adhere to it. You may have a big vehicle, you may be an experienced driver, but we have seen you will get stuck, or you will get bogged down by other people that have gotten stuck. And what happens at that time? First responders have to come and rescue you, and we've seen fatal consequences because of people not adhering to the driving ban. That's in addition to, obviously, you're blocking the ability for the city and the county and all those locations to come out and plow these areas. That also causes our police officers to go out and have to enforce the driving ban, and you are taking us away from other critical resources, necessities that we have to go and perform. So I'm asking you, I'm telling you, please adhere to the driving ban if it comes to a point where that has to be put in place. We have taken on some new equipment. You've seen the UTVs that are out. They have treads that we can pop those on, makes us more mobile, get us to other areas. We've also purchased a number of F-150 trucks. They're not in yet. We're told that they should be in sometime in January. That's all of our fleet is all-wheel drive vehicles. The F-150s will be full four-wheel drive vehicles. What we're doing in the city and our investments are how can we maximize all of our equipment. We can maximize that by having pieces of equipment that we can use all year round. The UTVs were a perfect demonstration of that. A lot of community engagement, a lot of parks, a lot of different areas. Really was a way to get people to come and communicate with our officers by seeing those. So we're a lot of investments that have been made, and the significant investment has been made in our emergency operations center at police and fire headquarters. A lot of equipment has been put in there. That gives us the ability in emergency operations center with all the different forms of government that are coming in to put together this. When there is a situation that's going on, we can see all of our hundreds of city cameras. We can hone in on where we need to be. We have our crime center platform, so it's really a benefit. There's been a lot of investments in the city. We're looking forward to that, being able to have those available. I know the mayor's, certainly investing and looking for more investments to come into those emergency operations center type activities. So with that, I'll turn it over to the fire commissioner. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Good afternoon, everyone. Commissioner Ronaldo, Buffalo Fire Department. I just want to comment on some of our specialty vehicles, which we acquired over the last 12 months. As Commissioner Gamali alluded to, we also have a number of UTVs, utility vehicles. We have some trailers. With utility vehicles, give us a lot more flexibility and freedom of movement during times of inclement weather. But also, we're going to use them at PR events, things of that nature too. So you may see them at the Turkey Trot and other events like that throughout the year as well. So obviously, you can wheels and tracks, so we can switch them back and forth depending on the weather and the terrain. We also have trailers, which we're going to use to pre-position them in the parts of the city where we feel they'll be most needed during times of inclement weather as well. We also have a fleet of snowmobiles, which are not on hand right now, but they are back in our service area. And to our right, we have a 100-foot Pierce mid-mount aerial, which we recently acquired and was delivered within the last 2 weeks, and 2 Rosenbauer pumpers as well. And that represents over $4.5 million worth of frontline apparatus as well. So we feel we're well positioned to meet any snow emergency or any emergency of any type, and work in concert with our partners in public safety, with the Buffalo Police, Department of Public Works, and our partners at the county level as well. So thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. I did get Ready Erie working. I just had to reboot it. And we just have a new warning from the National Weather Service as of 12/21, which came in on Ready Erie because it has apps. It's now a lake effect snow warning issued at 12/21 until December 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern, or December 2nd. It's December 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern. And they're expecting heavy lake effect snow. Multiple feet of snow will be possible through the weekend in the most persistent lake snows. The problem is they are expecting, and they say it might come into Buffalo on Saturday and Saturday night. It's possible, but they don't know. So what I want everyone to state is I just got this latest one issued at November 27th at 12/21, and this is the advantage of Ready Erie. You get this right to your phone yourself directly because it was posted by the Weather Service. As it says, heavy lake effect snow expected. Multiple feet of snow will be possible through the weekend in the most persistent lake snows. Snowfall rates will average 1 to 2 inches an hour, but higher rates will be possible. We don't know exactly where it's going to hit, so we got to be prepared that it's going to hit everywhere, and that's what we're prepared for. And I thank all my partners in the city of Buffalo and of course Erie County for being here. And the mayor and I and everyone else are here if you have any questions. So I'll open it up to questions.